Chronicles breaking news.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to Mobster Chronicles. We want to weigh in on the current beef between Joey Merlino and Michael Franzese, and put things in perspective. As we mentioned in a previous video, right after Joey started his new YouTube channel, both Sammy Gravano and Michael Franzese invited him for a chat.
Joey Merlino. Matter of fact, if he ever wanted to come on my platform and talk with me and whatever, he's got an open invitation.
Maybe when I'm down in Florida, we'll get to say hello one day.
At first, Joey didn't reply to these overtures. But after receiving a DM from Franzise's representative, this time suggesting they meet up on Franzise's show, Joey had some choice words to say to YouTube's most well-known snitchers.
You're a rat. You know you're a fucking rat. Like, same thing with Sammy the Bull. Listen, do me a favor, all you rat motherfuckers. Do not invite me on your show. You're insulting me. I wouldn't pee on you if you were on fire. Leave my name out of your mouth and go about your own fucking business. Fuck yous all. I'm done with yous. I would never go on his fucking, none of their shows.
Then, a couple of days later, an offended Franzese responded to Joey's statements and ratcheted things up.
Joey Merlino, who a couple of months ago, whatever it might have been, decided to join the YouTube platform. When I heard about it, I spent 2-3 minutes and welcomed him aboard the platform and, said something nice about it. I don't recall exactly what it was, but basically welcomed him aboard the platform. But there is a guy that I'm going to speak about today, and I'm going to speak about him in a good way, only because he recently came on YouTube. Many of you who follow me know who he is. His name is Joey Merlino. Real deal, very well-respected guy, and a guy that I've respected from afar. Well, it's come to my attention today that a young man by the name of Justin sent a direct message, I believe, to Joey Merlino.
This is Michael Franzese's lawyer. He DM'd me on my Instagram. Hi, Joe. I represent Michael Franzese, and we'd like to discuss possibly having you on his podcast. Let me know if there's any interest on your end. Thank you for your time and consideration.
He thought he was doing a nice thing. He's not my attorney.
Never. I don't entertain lying rats. That's my answer. I never entertain lying rats. Here's his response. He told me the government never considered him a cooperating witness, but I am not a fan at all of how he associated with the biggest rat of all time, Sammy.
Obviously, this young man was mistaken because he thought he was sending this to somebody with class. Obviously, that's not the case. Now, Joey took it upon himself to call me a rat.
My response, he's a lying motherfucker. He knows he's a rat. His whole family knew he was a rat, including his father.
Wow.
I didn't hear back from him. That was 9 o'clock at night.
Now, let me make this clear. I haven't spoken to this young man for at least a year. I haven't communicated with him by text, email, social media, in any other way. He used to work for my wine company in Michigan, and that ended about 5 months ago.
Hold on. Franzese is lying. He was here in Detroit for a wine tasting at Andy Ammo's restaurant in Bloomfield, Michigan on February 20th of this year. And here are the pics from Justin's Facebook page to prove he was with him at Andy Ammo's. So Franzese is full of shit. We're experts on catching liars and frauds on YouTube, so don't lie, or we will catch it.
But then he went on to talk about my father. He said, for Sonny Franzese to associate with his son, because he said that I paid my father's bail, I picked him up when he came out of prison, that my father, Sonny Franzese, must be a rat also.
This morning, the lawyer texted back and said his father was a stand-up guy. He did 50 straight years. I said, yes, you're right. His father did 50 years, but he still condoned what his son did. He knew his son was a rat. He used to make him visit him, and he picked him up from jail when he got out on his last bid. And he put his bail up for him and sent him commissary. So in my opinion, if you condone your son being a rat, you're just as bad as him. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's the truth. He knew his son was a fucking rat. and he fucking talked. His son put Nobby Walters away, the guy, the sports agent.
Yeah.
His answer is, well, he never went to jail. Well, he's not the judge. You testified against the guy, and he testified against your father's driver, I think it was, the guy out of Chicago.
Confessed organized crime captain Michael Franzese testified he paid $50,000 cash to become a silent partner in the agency that once represented 44 potential professional football and basketball stars.
Now, let me tell you this, Mr. Merlino. You couldn't shine my father's shoes on his worst day. My father was one of the most stand-up guys ever in that life, and everybody knows it, even every one of your associates, and you know it also. And you know what? You would never in a million years say that to my father's face. Of course we know that. I don't think you'd say it to my face. And if you want to, just let me know. I'm here, not going anywhere. If my father had something to say to you, he wouldn't be saying it to a bunch of people on social media. He would say it directly to your face, as I would. If you still are involved, and I have no idea, nor do I care, what are you doing on social media? You wouldn't see my father on social media. You wouldn't see me on social media if I was still part of that life. What are you doing on social media? Answer me that. Before you make remarks about my father, know what you're talking about. Really, because if you still are on the street, there's going to be people that are pretty much offended by that. Nobody can say a disparaging word about my father as far as him being a stand-up guy. If my father was close to me afterwards, and he was, then maybe he knows something that you and everybody else don't. Maybe the Colombo Brass, yeah, my former family, maybe they knew something about what I did or didn't do that you don't, and that the rest of the world don't, and I don't have to tell anybody. It's nobody's business what went on between me and my father and the brass in the Colombo family during that time. I'm going to leave it at that. And I have no shame for anything that I've done. None whatsoever.
Now, in all fairness, no one can deny that Sonny Franzese was anything but a stand-up guy, and a true mobster in every sense of the word. However, while Joey's statements may seem a bit harsh, he's actually correct as he strictly followed Cosa Nostra protocol and rules. As a matter of fact, we'll let Michael Francese's own words prove our point.
Back in 2007 in Palermo, Italy, the Italian authorities happened to stumble upon the 10 Commandments of the Mafia. And it was actually 10 Commandments that you're supposed to uphold if you're part of that life. And in 2008, the Discovery Channel actually made a documentary out of it, and I was one of the principal interviewees in that documentary. And I think before I get into that, I have to go back to the Code of Omerta. I'm sure you people have heard that before. It is allegedly the code of silence where everybody that is a made member of the Mafia or Cosa Nostra here in this country is not supposed to talk about it. The basis of Omerta is not so much in talking about the life, but it's really talking about law enforcement. And in Omerta, they consider it demeaning, they consider it shameful to talk to law enforcement for any reason.
Will you please stand, raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you will give this subcommittee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
It was about breaking that code and speaking to law enforcement at any point in time. It was considered shameful and demeaning.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Roth, and members of the subcommittee, my name is Michael Franzese. I am here today to testify about the ties between organized crime and professional boxing, a subject which I can discuss based on a great deal of first-hand knowledge since I was involved in both. I was a capo in the Colombo La Cosa Nostra crime family. My father was at one time the underboss.
Third commandment, never be seen with cops. You weren't allowed to talk to them, be seen with them, be around them.
When I was inducted into the Colombo family, I was assigned initially to Andrew Russo, one of the capo regimes. Russo is a first cousin to current family boss, Carmine Persico Jr., and at the time of my induction, he served as an acting boss to then family boss, Thomas DeBella.
10, people who can't be part of Cosa Nostra, and that is anyone with a two-timing relative in the family.
Chet Cummings, a New York boxing promoter and longtime acquaintance of my father's, Vito Antifermo. who eventually became the middleweight champion, Don King, the Reverend Al Sharpton,
He had a relative that was a snitch.
Paul Castellano, then boss of the Gambino family, and Thomas DeBella, boss of the Colombo family, Carmine Persico Jr., Colombo family boss, Alphonse Aliboy Persico, and Joe Tomasello, both of whom were family capos. Tom Corky Vastola, a DeCavalcanti family soldier, and his capo, Jimmy Rotunda. DeCavalcanti's agreed to contact the Cleveland family. The Genovese family soldier, Danny Pagano.
Or a relative that didn't have the right integrity, you weren't allowed to be a member. I guess that counted. They really looked into your family for security reasons. Maybe they thought it would wear off on you if you had a family member that was, two-timing, playing both sides to the middle, I would say.
We have to remember that Sonny sadly spent his twilight years in federal prison, thanks to his rat son John Jr. and corrupt federal justice system scumbags who had a personal vendetta against him. Let's just say Sonny Franzese was not the man he once was, when he got out. He was quite elderly and in declining health. While Sonny Franzese was no rat, his two sons were. Michael was what we would call a cooperator, whereas John Jr. was a full-fledged, unrepentant, drug-bag-fucking rat, who stooped so low that he even wore a wire and testified against his own 93-year-old father, twice, which resulted in his last stint in prison. And while it is Sonny's personal business if he wanted to forgive his two sons, and has every right to do so, Joey Merlino is absolutely correct to criticize a fellow-made man for disobeying Cosa Nostra's code of conduct. One final question for Michael Franzese. What would your father think of you being friends with a notorious rat degenerate like Sammy Gravano?
And let me tell you about Sammy Gravano. He's my friend, like it or not. I'm not interested in what he did before. I like Sammy now, I like his family, and I don't care who knows it or who disagrees with it. That's how I feel. Whatever happened before, none of my business. Didn't involve me, and that's it.
And I have no shame for anything that I've done. None whatsoever.
Yeah, you sure don't. Point proven, case closed. We would like to hear your thoughts on this, so please post your comments below. Mobster Chronicles is a syndicate of mob experts and insiders who present unique, fact-based videos and discussions about organized crime in the US and Canada. We present the mob's point of view on organized crime, with an unbiased eye and don't take cheap shots or pass any judgment on those involved. We also expose those wannabe gangsters and frauds who dare to lie about their life and connections to La Cosa Nostra in America and those snitches, stoolies and rats, who did the crime but couldn't do the time. All are targets, and none are safe from our pursuit. Mob liars, snitches and wannabes. You can run, you can lie, you can snitch, but you can't hide. Please subscribe to our channel if you want to see more content like this, hit the like button and don't forget to ring the notification bell, and we welcome your comments. Thanks for watching.